this is Chris Simbera from Gluten-Free Chris, and today I'm going to make with you one of my family's favorite Christmas desserts, and it's especially one of my wife's favorites, so you know I want to make it so that I can make her Christmas. And this is a very simple recipe, and I'm actually adapting it a little bit from Bob's Red Mill, one of their all-purpose baking flour mixes, and it's the one with the red label, all-purpose baking flour. And on the back there's a recipe for a banana bread. And you can follow the recipe to a T, and the only thing that I'm going to change in it is instead of bananas, I'm going to use apples. And you can use certainly applesauce, or you can cook some apples, but what you're going to want to do is to have a cup and a half of cooked apples, in essence. And what I did was I bought some that were in a can. Actually, I already had these on hand. It is Comstock's sliced apples, or green apples, and I just measured out a cup and a half, and then I took a potato masher and just mashed them out to make it very simple for me. And I went ahead and put out all these other ingredients to also make it very simple for you to see as I go through this process. Now, there's a couple things you want to do. You want to preset your oven to 350. You want to have a 3x5 or a 3x5 pan that you're going to cook. All right, and with the wet ingredients, what you want to add is 1/3 of a cup of oil, and it called for canola oil in the recipe, although you can use any kind of oil as long as it's a light oil. In fact, I'm actually using olive oil, but if you use olive oil, you really want to make sure that you use a light olive oil. You don't want to use a heavy one. 2 eggs, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, and you want to get all of that in the bowl. Okay. And then you want to use 1 teaspoon, which I hardly ever measure out, of the vanilla extract. You just give it a little shot, and I probably did a little bit more. And so then you're going to stir these ingredients up. And it calls for a mixer to do this, but what's the purpose? You're just going to get a mixer dirty, and it's just very simple to do. And stir that up real well. It might take you about 30 seconds, maybe even a minute. And then after you do that, then we're going to start adding in the flour. And you kind of do it gradually. And in terms of the flour that you use, it's 1 3/4 cup of Bob's gluten-free all-purpose flour. Then we can add in the bananas. Excuse me, the apples in this case. And it really does go in like applesauce right now, and it's already actually starting to smell good. And then we have a 1/2 cup of either walnuts or pecans is what I used for this, and we stir that in. And we have a 1/2 cup of raisins. We have a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. We have a teaspoon. As with a lot of the gluten-free breads and dessert products, we're going to want to use a little bit of guar gum with it, or in this case it was xanthan gum, some kind of gum that gives it that fluffy. And that was a little bit, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Actually, I think I had those backward, but you got it. And I'm putting this obviously down. You'll see it below on the website. It'll be right underneath the video for this. And it should look very, very thick soup, I guess. If you're not sure and you're using a glass bowl, you can look at the bottom just to kind of make sure that everything is mixed thoroughly. So having a glass mixing bowl can be a wonderful blessing to be able to check that out real quickly. Okay, and then once you've got this all mixed out, what we're going to now do is pour this into the old tray that we're going to be cooking this in. And you just put this in the oven at either 325 or 350, depending on how fast your oven cooks. We actually set ours to 325 because the oven cooks so quickly. And you'll want to cook this for about 45 minutes, but you're going to check on it periodically. And just take a toothpick in every now and then and stick it down and make sure that nothing comes out as you pull it out. And that just kind of gives you an indication of whether or not it's actually completely done cooking. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the oven, and then we're going to check back in with you in about 45 minutes. And so there you have it. Instead of 45 minutes, I found that the alteration of going from banana to apple, it took a little bit more time, and I cooked it 50 minutes. So just make a note of that, and it probably will take a little bit longer cooking the apple cake as opposed to cooking the banana bread. But anyway, here it is. Looks wonderful. Can't wait to cut into it. Usually you want to let it sit for about 20 minutes at least, maybe 30 minutes or even an hour before you attempt to cut into this delicious bread. And then you can start to enjoy it right from there. Have a great day. Again, right below this video will be a copy of the recipe for you so that you can enjoy it. Pass it on to your friends. Delicious gluten-free apple cake.